everybody on Freaknik, there was a documentary. I have photo albums where I could have just wrecked a lot of people, but see, I'm keeping it. I'm not trying to do that for for money. I'm not trying to sell people out. But I might have your auntie in a thong twerking
It'll be on
a
a
car.
Patreon.
I'm just saying.
Welcome back to the Playbook. I'm your host, Lion, joined by my co-host, Mr. E and Doc Smith. How are you fellas doing today?
Doing awesome.
Outstanding, sir. Great to be here.
Excellent. Good to see you guys. And Mr. E, what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about online culture. What is it? Do we like it? And what will it be in the future?
Excellent. And Doc, let us know who do we have in the studio today.
Okay, today is a very special day in Playbook history. We have our first male guest with us. So I'm gonna let him tell you about himself because there's just so many amazing things about this guy. We're just really thankful to have him here with us today. Like I said, so much we broke our mold and we just went straight testosterone on this episode, baby.
That's right.
No estrogen to balance us out, so we cannot be responsible for how
we're gonna have fun today.
What happens, you know what I mean? But so we have my man
Mr.
Darius Romero.
Yes,
had to hit the
sir.
R. Autry, thank you for coming. Thank you for being here with us, man.
Man, I appreciate y'all boys having me, man. I'm glad to be here. But yep, Darius Romero Autry. Romero is the middle name. Yeah, you can find me on the socials, Darius Autry, YouTube, Darius Romero Autry. But yeah, a little bit about me. Born and raised in Tampa. I'm a dancer, played baseball in college. And now I'm an actor. You know, I got my drama degree. I do a lot in the theater. I'm in film, television, things like that. I do a lot of indie films, and also, got my YouTube journey going on. So happy to be here with you.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah. I had the pleasure to know Darius for a little while now. He's doing great things out there. And being that this is our first male guest, we're full of testosterone in the studio.
That's right.
And we always try to keep it peaceful. Darius, we're going to find out today. Does size really matter?
Yes, it does.
Just kidding. That was a joke.
I was going to answer. Listen, size is like speed. It makes up for mechanical inefficiencies.
There you go.
That is the best answer I've ever heard for that question.
And there you have it. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We're out.
It's a wrap, right? Shoot, you can't do better.
Now, the topic, we're talking about online culture, and being that we are on YouTube, pretty soon on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, so check us out. If you feel right to talk about this topic, the lens that people go to be famous online, the lens, how the ability to be online has changed the way we communicate, how it affects our everyday. Darius, being that you do a lot of, you're on your own YouTube journey, you're being in films, theater, etc. In your journey, how has online culture affected what you do, and what things have you seen evolving throughout that time?
For people, I like to say that particularly with acting and, being in theater, being in kind of the Hollywood type of lane as far as what I do, it's really opened up a lane. I like to say that the content creator or the social media influencer, they're exchangeable in this point I'm about to make. It's like the entrepreneur for anyone in media. It balances out the leverage, right? Like if you're a content creator, you bring your own following, you bring your own brand, and therefore you bring your own volume to the business, to the production company. So with that being said, you got guys like Kai Cenat creating their own short films, first time acting ever.
Yep.
They get 15 million views. Well, 25 million people tune into the Super Bowl?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, when you think about it, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you really, we're in a time now to where you can really monetize attention, and that's definitely kind of tinkling into Hollywood and changing the model for how you come up as an actor, as a performer. In the 80s and 90s, it was Broadway, it was theater. That's how you came up. You thugged it out there. Someone sees you in the theater, and then you blow up from there. We're in a different time now. Not to say you still can't do that, but the times are changing. The model to come up is changing.
You have your traditional route and you have your modern route. Back in the day, you have to go your castings. That's it. Somebody had to really like you for you to really get through that process and make it. Now you can take matters into your own hands. And
Yeah.
if you have the time, the ability, the talent, you can get yourself noticed
And
online.
that's sort of what I think is one of the benefits or the byproducts of this new social media age is that you have the democratization of content, right? If you think about it, when we go back to before social media, there were only so many major TV networks, cable networks that controlled television as a whole. And that sort of affected what we saw, right? The whole game has changed where before it was mostly inauthentic. And now you're seeing advertisers sort of change the script.
It's like he said, at this juncture, when you're talking about marketing, it's all about numbers, the amount of eyes that you can get on your product or whatever you're doing. And now you have people creating their own content online that can get you more visibility, have more eyes on you than even something like the Super Bowl, which is, like I said, to really wrap your head around that, you know?
I kind of want to tie it back to something Tracy said about advertising being a numbers game, how that kind of ties in here.
Sure.
When it comes to the Super Bowl, for example, say you get 25 million viewers on that night, right?
Right.
The typical cost to produce and film a Super Bowl commercial, on the conservative side, let's just say it's $1 million, right? So you got $1 million. You could produce a Super Bowl commercial, let's just say Doritos. And now we're being extremely conservative with numbers, but the point will still be proven. You could give 10 content creators $100,000 each that on average rack in 5 million views, let's just say 10 million views per video, right? So you've got 10 content creators racking in, let's just say 10 million views video. There's 100 million people getting exposed to this new Dorito, opposed to 25 million people getting exposed to it on Super Bowl night, one night. YouTube videos stay up for years. They don't come off unless the content creator takes them off.
Yeah.
So the game is changing, right? The game is changing and advertising's changing, and you're starting to see a lot of content creators name drop, and it's really opening up a model for people to come up, and it's great to see.
Yeah. Hey, to add on to your point, which is to Tracy's point, Doc showed me a video where they were talking about the freaking Taylor Swift. We love you. Great performer. It's all good. Yeah,
you know.
I can't get into the music, but it's all good. You know, it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, she does her thing.
We respect the hustle.
Exactly.
We respect the hustle,
Exactly.
Tay-Tay.
And they were talking about how the Swifties have ruined the NFL viewing experience. Because
The who?
the Swifties. You haven't heard of the Swifties?
No, I'm
This-
not a fan.
Are
It's
you
a
not?
thing.
I'm not a fan.
Hold on.
I don't know.
Wait a minute, because you were here. No.
I thought I heard Taylor
Yo,
Swift
Tampa-
playing in Lion's car
Yeah,
when he pulled up with the
no.
window down. That was
That was his
that's
car.
what
He was the
I
one driving.
that was he? Okay.
No, the Swifties invaded Tampa and created a havoc. There was traffic for hours. How could you not know about the Swifties? Now, but anyway, getting back to the point, yeah, the Swifties are watching a regular, benign football game. It was Kansas City versus Philly, I think it was. And they had more viewers than the Super Bowl. And it's only a few weeks into the season. And that's sort of what it is. And not only did they have more viewers, but one of the guy's wives, she was sitting there watching Taylor Swift watch the football game, which I don't know how you get excitement out of that. But anyway, and she was like, oh, I like her outfit. I'm going to buy it. Bang. Instant commercialism.
This gives us rise to the social media influencer
Right.
in 2023. You know, we chosen to go into the route of doing podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're pretty soon going to be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check us out.
Check us out.
Shameless plug.
Like and subscribe.
Shameless plug.
Shameless
here.
plug right there. So, but there's other forms of content. You and I, Darius and I, were talking about short form content. We're talking about shorts, TikTok, Instagram Reels. And that's something that you recently have been delving into, have been very successful in as well.
Yeah, I started a YouTube channel about 2 months ago, and I started it off doing long form content, just getting the camera rolled and getting the habit of editing and posting, which is usually the big jump that
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, starting off
Yep.
on YouTube.
That first video, man.
Yep.
Right. So I said, let me just do that. And I wasn't really getting too much traction as far as subscribers and views, and did a little research. I start posting some shorts, and next thing you know, it's the progress has been exponential. just as far as subscriber count and just the amount of views that have been racked up in this short time. But I think there's like there's a nice big gap between like short form content and long form content. Like there's still a lot of people out there that want to see long form content.
Yes, there is.
But the thing is how do you hook them and how do you get that barb in them and keep them there, right? I think shorts is a nice way to kind of get them going and get them there. And if you ask yourself like, man, this new podcast, how would I get in tune with them? If you reel it back and think back, you probably saw some clips here and there. You probably got in tune. You probably saw some little clips, like maybe 4 or 5. It's different for everyone. And then you're like, okay, what's going on here? You click on their page. Oh, they have an 1.5 hour long podcast. Let me tune into them.
And I think it's in this short form that we're seeing a lot of people kind of push the envelope a little more because people's attention span is very little. So if you have a minute or less than a minute to grab someone's attention, you will see some of these videos like, hey, mystery gift or $1,000. And you'll hear that at the first 5 seconds and you'll be hooked like, okay, what is that person gonna choose and what is the mystery gift? And they'll get you there. Like it's happened to me, happened to the best of us. So it does. It just happens. Like I've been caught in some of those rabbit holes and you just watch how would people react. Trying to get into someone's head, like why are they choosing the money or why are they choosing the gift? And just something as simple as that.
There are young kids that are skipping college in order to go into a content house. What are your feelings about that?
I think you can still succeed without going to college. Now, I'm not trying to say every kid does need to go to college. But what I'm saying is that, if we apply the 80-20 rule to just kids in general here in high school, 20% of them only have the self-discipline to continue to educate themselves, to wake up every morning when they don't really have to for class, to continue to kind of go out and research the right things, to continue to learn how to maybe articulate themselves in the right way. Like it takes a disciplined young man and young woman too to go and do that at 18 years old. Mm-hmm. Now, if that young person falls within that 20% and they want to go to a content house, like that's great. Like iron sharpens iron. But just understand, you got to really self-evaluate, which is a hard thing to do at 18.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about you,
Doc?
Yeah.
Would you let your kid skip college to go into a content house?
Oh boy.
Coming from two people with a PhD and an MD degree, what are your thoughts?
You will not survive this household without a college degree.
I respect it.
And the ability to do 150 push-ups in 2 minutes.
I love it.
Because every time you talk about doing something besides college, you're going to be pushing. Or like we say in the Army, you're going to beat your face. My dad was military. My mom stressed academics, education for my sister. I have 2 siblings. My sister's a retired accountant from DOJ. My baby sister has her own social work practice. She's working on a doctorate in social work. She has a master's in social work. So obviously, I come from a background that values education, academics.
Right.
But as a guy who's been a mentor for like most of my life, just like Darius says, everybody's not cut out for college. I think, but what I just want you to be able to do, if you're not going to go to college, is have a good plan and understand, the ramifications of your actions one way or another. Going from pro sport, let's look at it from a different angle, real brief. How do you feel about people jumping from high school basketball to professional basketball?
Really, really good question. There was a few people from my high school that had this issue. One of them went on to play for the Cleveland Indians, got drafted in high school their senior year, came down here to Florida, got a $3 million contract. He brought a house, the whole deal.
Is being a social media influencer a viable option aside from either going to college, going to vocational school, or going straight to the workforce?
For me, it wouldn't be. I'm gonna tell you this, but that's just my personality. I think that you should reach for the stars and aspire to do whatever you feel like you could do. You don't want to leave this planet with regrets. I'm not gonna. People when they read my resume, I didn't leave. 16 broken bones later, and I did everything. I tried to do everything I wanted to do. I tried to meet all the people and experience everything that life had to offer and has to offer. But I think that, I love it when the guys, I agree. I think that if somebody offers you $10 million to go play basketball out of high school, then you go to take the $10 million. Because like you said, you could be injured. Even though you can make some money in college now, you take the money. But if it was my kid or my mentee, I'd say, hey, take classes online, finish up your degree just in case something happens. We do this for the love. That's why we did it.
Yep.
You know, one of these days we're gonna have 2 million followers, and we'll, you know, you guys will be part of the original group. You know what I mean?
Subscribe now.
Like and subscribe. You know what I mean? But
There was one girl. We were watching this documentary or this video from Vice TV, where this group of kids are essentially skipping high school and college to become influencers, and they're going all to live in these houses, the content houses. One of the girls was saying, like, so why is the guy asked her, because he just couldn't fathom how is this possible. Why is it that you do online? It's like, oh, I just blink, and people like
literally,
me
she
to
just
blink.
blinks.
And she has millions of followers, like a couple million people follow her because of that. Another guy is just like they just do dances, and it's not that they. I personally don't see the appeal, and
Look at Doc's face. Look at Doc's.
dog is like
He's just waiting for his time. He's like, I'm gonna go
"What?"
after him. I'm gonna go after him. Yeah.
But these kids are pulling in. I think some of them were pulling in like as little as $20,000 a deal. They're making money on brand deals. At that point, the guy asked, well, "What happens when you're 60 and you don't have a degree and this falls off?" I'm like, well, they probably made a few $1 million. If they had a good manager or someone by their side, they invested it. They're gonna be all right.
And if things went well, then they get the bigger manufacturers
contracts.
like Home Depot and all that other stuff, blah, 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 which is something to think about. I don't think it's for everybody.
Let's say this, just so it doesn't, we don't mix the message.
Right.
I think those people that, even at a young age, that make it, that can actually go the extra mile, those I Show Speed,
Right.
those Mr. Beast, Kaizenat, there's a certain level of dedication, obsession that they have
It's
to
not
the
luck.
craft.
It's not
Because
luck.
This is like, it seems easy, like to just get on the camera and do something silly. You know, at the beginning it may be easy, but once you start making money, once you start getting some kind of traction, you gotta be disciplined. You have to stick with it, because it's very easy for you to disappear, and nobody ever care about you. You see someone like Mr. Beast talk on how the level of obsession that he had, looking at his metrics, and what can I do better in the next video.
the thing that I come back to as a martial artist, as an older guy with some wisdom, is balance and quality of life. And he
Right.
specifically said, no uncertain terms, that he wouldn't recommend anybody do what he does. He said because he doesn't have a life balance. His life, he eats, breathes, sleeps, everything is what he does. And I think that's a great work ethic if you're healthy enough emotionally to balance that out with something. And at some point in time, know when to go, okay, the machine is running. Now let me, do some yoga, find a girlfriend, find some buddies, do a spa day.
Well, it makes you think he doesn't
He has
have
a
a girlfriend.
girlfriend. Has a girlfriend, actually.
No, I'm just messing with you.
He does.
No, but to that point,
She's actually pretty cute.
to that
Have
point,
you ever, she lives in Canada, right? What show was that? Was a
Sweden,
joke
I
where
think.
somebody's talking about their girlfriend
She
from
lives in
Canada.
Canada.
They're
No,
really,
no,
yeah,
for
they're
real,
really
she
not a
does.
girl.
do you see that as something that's sustainable though, or do you
No.
see it as something that's just?
Thank you.
That's
Yeah. Go ahead. I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
yeah. I don't, Darius. I mean, I don't wish bad. As long as somebody's successful, especially good people,
Yeah.
I'm always happy to see people succeed.
Now, I'll say this just to give the other side. I think it is sustainable if you reach a certain level. So let's take an example of someone like Kevin Samuels.
The blinking girl. Let's talk about the blinking girl, though. I'm playing devil's advocate.
There you go. He
The
wants,
blinking
he
girl.
wants to drive it home. Go ahead.
I want the blinking girl to
the
be
one that
sustainable.
blinks.
If
Is
people
that
don't get
sustainable?
tired-
Oh, okay,
Darius, do you think that's
Okay.
sustainable?
The blinking girl? I don't. Because her eyelashes ain't gonna be that pretty for that long.
Right. Yeah, they defeat people. Like,
I mean, she could do.
No, but let me say this. I think when you get to a certain point, it is sustainable. Because I had to complete that sentence. So let's look at
Sorry
someone like
about that
Kevin
line.
Samuels. Kevin reached, I think, it was almost 2 million subscribers. For those who you know who Kevin Samuels is, and his content, the way he set up his account, because he used to talk about it, he set up as a legacy account that way his daughter and his family will receive the money. He died, but his videos still get a very large amount of
Well, I'm
views.
sure they got more
That
views
mo-
after he
that money-
dying's good for business.
That money still goes to his daughter. So once you reach a certain level, I think it is sustainable, because you will have to, less so you get canceled, you have to mess up so bad because it's residual income. It's already
Right.
happening there. You're gonna get brand deals if you get a certain amount of views. All you gotta do is just be on camera. Now, if you are the blinking girl and you're maybe making $20,000 every so often here and there, but then you don't have that discipline to evolve your content create a save your money, create a path to secure more money and grow it, it's not gonna be sustainable. People are gonna get tired of you because somebody else coming right behind you is gonna be blinking better than you.
Well, I think the issue there, like especially say she's 18 years old, just throwing it out. Say she's 18 and she's blinking her eyes, getting a whole bunch of money. She's gonna have to have some type of adjustability when that dries out. And adjustability is a hard thing to have. I feel like at
Pun
that
intended,
age.
ladies and gentlemen.
Adjustability is a hard thing to have at that age.
One, real talk. I don't think it's sustainable. I think the music stops for a lot of people. Having real talent. I think that the online content phase is in a life cycle and is it's on the second stage of this life cycle, I think.
Agreed.
And I think the next stage will be developed in higher quality content. For the ones that are out there doing a damn thing and getting their money, save your money. And it's just like being a sports athlete getting a deal, just like being a child star getting a deal, or even an adult actor, like a grown-up actor.
You
getting a
mean
deal.
versus adult
Yeah.
content?
Yeah, not that one.
Hey, even that
Even
dries
that,
up sometimes.
save your money.
Because that's where I was going before. I didn't want to, but like, back in the day, Magic, when I was in Atlanta, Magic City Club Nicky, some of those
Magic
clubs,
City.
there were girls. I remember when that whole Freaknik thing came out, people were talking about, their moms and their aunties and everybody on Freaknik, and there was a documentary. I have photo albums where I could have just wrecked a lot of people, but see, I'm keeping it. I'm not trying to do that for money. I'm not trying to sell people out. But I might have your auntie in a thong
It'll
twerking
be
on
on
a
our
car.
Patreon.
I'm just saying.
It'll be on our Patreon later. Check it out.
Right, you know what I'm saying? There was a girl who I knew in the military who actually became a dancer, and she was disciplined and smart like we're talking about. And I say this to say is that where I'm going full circle with this is that those kind of jobs have a shelf life, but if you make the money and you do the right thing with it, because what she did was she saved enough money to actually go ahead and go to college, buy a house, buy a car, pay for her college, and set herself up for a future dancing at a strip club in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And that brings me to a point that I wanted us to talk about before we close everything out. What is the craziest or the most extreme thing you've seen someone do online to get noticed?
Getting attention for clout or trying to get clout. People doing crazy stuff where like they hurt themselves and risk their well-being and stuff like that. Like it's not that deep. Like it's not that deep. I wouldn't do that stuff. Like I love myself. I wouldn't try to hurt myself just to get views so I can get money.
You guys want to support and check him out? You have a movie on Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah, Amazon Prime. It's called Harvey. That's the most recent film I've done. We got another one that'll be distributed soon. It's in a film festival circuit right now. It's called Rats. North Carolina, we debuted in November. So that'll go on a nice film festival circuit. But yeah, I'll keep y'all updated on that. Follow me on the socials. Tap in.
So yeah, it's been a great episode. There's only one last thing to do. Mr. E, go ahead and take us home.
It's been another great episode. Thanks to Darius for joining us. Check us out for the new episode coming soon. And if you're still waiting, check the library out. Until then, thank you for joining us. This is The Playbook.